How's it going, guys? In today's video we're going to be talking about the Camp Chef Woodwind and why I feel that this is one of the best pellet grills on the market. This is overall the best bang for your buck in my opinion, and what they did here is they pretty much threw everything but the kitchen sink at it. And this is everything that you see right now is standard on this Woodwind with the Seer Box. They do sell this in two different packages, one without the Seer Box and another with, so we'll go ahead and discuss all the upgrades that they did throughout this video, and a couple of little minor things that I wish they would have incorporated in the pellet grill at the very end. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright guys, the first thing you're going to notice right off the bat is the stainless steel. This is a standard feature on this new Woodwind. They went ahead and threw in a stainless steel lid and a stainless steel chimney cap, and the reason I think they did that is one, longevity. Stainless steel is gonna last longer, and two, I mean, look at it. It's I mean, it's nice. Who doesn't love stainless steel? So another upgrade that they went ahead and did is they provided thicker legs on this this model. On the previous models that they had, they're a little bit thinner. I had no issues with the legs whatsoever, but with these thicker legs, it's going to make it more sturdier and beefier. Like, they are, I mean, a lot thicker than the previous ones. I know it's hard to tell in this video, but I guess you're going to have to either go and see it for yourself or take my word for it. And another standard feature on this pellet grill is the bottom shelf. I am a big believer in purchasing a bottom shelf for your pellet grills. Not only does it stabilize the grills and keeps these legs in place so you avoid breaking or bending or anything, but you have a little bit of storage here. It's not much, but it's enough to put a couple bags of pellets or some of your accessories here. One other thing that I absolutely love that they did on this one is they put 4 caster wheels on instead of 2. The previous model only had 2, which is fine. It only needed the 2, but I love 4 wheels, and the reason being it's easier to move. Look at this. I mean, it just completely glides. And another reason why I like the 4 wheels is because you got 18 pounds of pellets here, and then you just added another 20 pounds of propane there, so that's what, 38 pounds additional. Then you had to lift it, which it isn't too heavy. Once you get it up like so, it was easily movable, but I just prefer to have had the 4 wheels, and I'm glad they incorporated that in this pellet grill. And then we're going to be looking at the hopper. They started incorporating this in all their pellet grills. My previous Camp Chef one didn't have this. It was inset. I understand why they probably changed this out. One, just to avoid any issues with water getting into the hopper, but two, when I saw this, I'm like, man, why did they put an oversized lid on such a small pellet hopper here? And I think the reason they did this, and I actually love why they did this, is with it being wider, you're able to put more food and more stuff on here. So this is essentially the size of their shelf. So the other companies, you know, if you look at it, they pretty much hug this, and so you don't have much room to put. But with this oversized one, you're going to get plenty of space on this. All right, another minor change that they did to this controller is they just changed the color to blue. I prefer the blue over the red, but they kept everything the same besides the blue LED display. You still got your fuse location, your bypass, your probe, and the probe temp, and then your high smoke, low smoke, feed, shutdown. Everything's the same. If you want a little more detail on some of this, I'm going to go ahead and link my other video where I compare it to the Traeger, and I go into a little bit more in depth on that. And speaking of the controller and hopper and everything, they still kept the pellet clean out here. This is where you hook a bucket here, but I prefer to have these Kingsford caddies. They're made for charcoal, but I found that they work really great for pellet grills. And sorry guys, let me go ahead and open this up. And the reason why I like these is because you can pour and dump in the same without much effort. So you can see all I did was stick it underneath, and it fits perfectly. You're going to lift this lever up and you're going to yank it. And you see all your pellets coming out. You're not going to see this feature on most pellet grills, and if you do, you're spending a lot more money than what the Camp Chef's asking. Another little minor improvement that they did was they raised up this probe porthole. They moved it up higher to avoid having the wires making contact with the grill, because these wires can only sustain so much heat, and if they get too hot then you burn them out, and then you're having to replace them, and they're not too expensive, but I don't want to have to replace something because of a silly thing like that. So they went ahead and just moved that up. The Seer Box. If you're going to buy a pellet grill through Camp Chef, I recommend getting the Seer Box combo with the Woodwind. The reason why I love this is because it's so easy for these quick cooks. With the pellet grill, you're going to have to wait for it to heat up, and then you know, you're kind of in a rush. If you want to come home, make some quick dinner, you can throw some quick burgers or hot dogs or anything else like this. I find the most use out of this is when I'm smoking ribs. My wife doesn't eat pork. Don't know why, but if I tell her it's pork, she's not going to eat it. She has eaten it. I've made quite a bit of stuff that's made out of pork, but I hadn't told her it was pork, and she loved it. So she doesn't watch my videos, so I have to kind of whisper because she's just right on the other side. But yeah, anyways, look at this tray. I mean, this thing is huge. You're not gonna have to empty this out. I recommend always emptying it out, obviously, but if you're making a whole bunch of greasy burgers or anything, you're not gonna have to worry about it overfilling or anything. So even with this attached, you're still able to access your grease cup, so you can easily empty it out. And this is, they moved the bracket up. Instead of being lower here, they put it on the grill body, which is reinforced with some pins where you screw it in. I don't know what they're called, the screw sleeves essentially, but this is awesome. Alright, now we are going to look. I'm going to go ahead and open it up and let's look inside. Alright, they didn't make much change in here, but the change they did, I love what they did. You're still getting a second shelf. You're still getting this inset grate. I love how it's inset, because in my other videos you'll see me, all the other manufacturers have it, and you're hitting this probe, this sensor here, and this is essentially the brains of your pellet grill, and the last thing you want to do is you don't want to damage that. So I'm going to go ahead and take this out real quick, and I'm going to show you a couple of other features that this Woodwind has. Alright, I went ahead and took everything out. I put it on the floor here. But an upgrade that they did that most people aren't going to notice, the stainless steel burn pot. Stainless steel lasts longer. It's just not going to rust out as quickly. You're not going to have as many issues. I love how they incorporated a stainless steel burn pot. But this is Camp Chef's bread and butter right here. Well, I believe the Seer Box is, but this is a close second. They're pretty much tied. Is the fire pot clean out. Fire pots need to be cleaned out every cook, but a minimum of every other cook, or whatever the manufacturer recommends. Just please read your guys' manuals. I get comment after comment of people telling me, I've never cleaned this out, I've never had to. They have a built-in fan to blow out all the dust and debris out of there, so there's no point in cleaning it out. And no, you're incorrect. If you look at your owner's manuals, most manufacturers are going to tell you to clean it out either before a long cook, every time, or every other time, unless otherwise stated, like I said. So read your manual. I'm not one to read manuals, but when you're spending this amount of money, it's highly recommended to read it. So they incorporated this trap door essentially, and they have a little lever here still. You just lift up the tab and you pull. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how easy the Camp Chef makes this. And then it completely dumps it out. So right before you're cooking, just give it a quick pull and go ahead and shut it back up. And everything empties out in here. So, but just make sure your pellets have been cooled and it hasn't been running, because you don't want to have any issues with having some fire or hot pellets or any embers sitting in here. So just make sure it's been cooled. If not, other manufacturers, you're gonna have to take all this out. And this is the reason I believe a lot of people don't clean it as often as they should, is because who wants to take this all out? Like, this looks fairly new. I've actually used this pellet grill several times. It took me a long time to clean it for this overview, but I wanted to make sure I used it before recommending it, because the last thing I want to do is recommend something that doesn't perform the way it's supposed to. And it performed flawlessly for me, just like their previous one. So I didn't have any issues with that one, so I didn't think I was going to have any issues with this one. So I'm going to go ahead and put all this back real quick, and we will talk about their warranty. Alright, well, Camp Chef's warranty is now a 3-year no-hassle warranty. So it's comparable to the other manufacturers, which I think is great. I think their previous one was 1 year with an option of buying additional or something like that, but they went ahead and just upgraded it to 3 years, which kudos to Camp Chef. You know, they make a great product, and they believe in their product, and they're backing it up with 3 years. So yeah, and then we're going to be talking about pellets here. Pellets is kind of controversial topic. People have their own favorites, their own brands, their own whatever. They believe they get better smoke and anything. I highly recommend you buying pellets, at least 1 bag from the manufacturer. And the reason I say that is because when they design and build these pellet grills, they're testing it on a specific pellet. So when you buy their pellets, you're going to create a baseline on how well this grill performs. So you're able to see if you change brands, if you know what, my grill isn't performing the same, I better switch back. Or if you find another brand of pellets that perform better than the manufacturers or the ones they suggest, then go for that brand. But like I said, I highly suggest buying at least 1 bag from the manufacturer. I happen to like these pellets. I love the competition blend. They're all natural, they're made in the USA, there's no chemicals or fillers or anything. This one happens to have maple, hickory, and cherry. I highly suggest a cover as well, bare minimum a cover. You want to protect your investment essentially. These aren't cheap, so you want to be able to protect the finish, and you want it to extend the life and everything, and I believe a cover is the bare minimum. If you live in cold weather, they do sell a cold weather blanket, or if you like to do jerky, they sell jerky racks. I'm going to go ahead and leave their website. I think it's woodwindgrills.com, or you can access it through campchef.com. But if you go to the woodwindgrills.com, they don't really have any mention of all the accessories that you can purchase. So I'm going to leave a link to their blog. They wrote a blog post with all the accessories that you can get for this pellet grill. So I'll leave that link there down below so you can see what type of accessories to purchase to enhance this great cooker. So now we're going to be talking about some of the things that I wish they would have incorporated into this pellet grill. So let me go ahead and make some adjustments here, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, 2 very minor. These are more of essentially nitpicks that I wish they would have incorporated into this pellet grill. But I would have liked to have seen a sort of like a half moon or a half circle cut out here. So when you got your probe wire, you don't have a big hole. It's not necessarily big. It's not a lot of smoke's going to leak out, but it's just a minor little detail I noticed in pellet grills. So I would have liked to seen some sort of half circle, so when you got your thermometer in, it completely closes the hole off, which you can see it's hard to tell, but there's not much there. Like I said, very minor. Another one is a cord management system. I would have liked to seen some sort of Velcro or something that you could store the cord, store it when not in use or whatever. I don't like to keep my pellet grills plugged in, so I always plug them, unplug them, and there's nowhere to really store them. This isn't just a Camp Chef issue. This is almost every manufacturer out there. There's a few that have a system or a detachable cord. You know, I don't know how much of a cost difference that is, but I would like to have seen some sort of cord management. You can either get some Velcro and then stick it right here, or I prefer sticking it in the hopper like so. Not a big deal. I would like to see some sort of cord management. So I think that I covered everything in this video. Like I said, I'll leave their website down below so you can get the specs, the size, everything that I didn't cover in this video. So I wanted to keep it kind of short. So if you guys have any questions, comments, or anything what you liked about the grill, go ahead and leave them down below, and I typically try to reply within a week depending on my school load, and I just had a daughter, so I'm kind of busy, but I do reply to every comment and every message that I get. So alright guys, well, have a good day.